Welcome to day 2 of Year of Jinx. This is patch notes for patch 13.20 of League of Legends for this episode of Let's Talk Jinx. Now, as I say, new patch, new genes, new changes. Welcome to patch 13.20. And while I won't go over the entirety of this, we're going to be talking about changes to Jinx, changes that might affect Jinx, and then you can do something of an 80 carry tier list in the comment section down below. We're going to bring that back for this particular patch, mainly because there are Jinx changes, and I just kind of want an excuse to talk about Jinx. But this is a little bit important, the Jax visual update is dropping, and boy, does it actually look pretty good. So just in case you have Jaxes in your games, how you play with a Jax when they're on your team as Jinx, or you play against a Jax when you have to deal with them as Jinx, that's going to be a conversation topic, of course. Jinx. Health growth increased. Passive bonus total attack speed now stacks. R cooldown decreased. Base damage increased. AD scaling increased. Jinx had a blast at MSI this year, but after the nerfs post MSI and ADC atomization changes that came afterwards, she's been having a tough time. This set of changes is aimed at increasing her power in average skill brackets without putting her over the line in pro play come the beginning of next year. Get excited, because we have a Get Excited buff that players should really appreciate alongside a little extra explosive power in her super mega death rocket. Step 1. Base stats health growth is going from 100 to 105. So if you're a newer player and you don't know how health growth works, basically when you level up, you can level up 18 times in a game, you get some health growth. As in, if your health starts at 300, if it was at 100 like it was, you get 100 health per level that you level up. By the time you're, level 18, 300 plus, 1800 is 2100. Now, as is, this might be really old numbers because I've been playing Jinx for so long. Sometimes the numbers get a little bit blurred. But at max level, without buying items that give you health or shields or anything, I believe Jinx's health gets to 1918. And the reason this is significant is because even though it's only an increase of 5 per level, that means it's a total increase by 18 levels of 90. That 90 pushes her over the 2000 health thresh mark that I believe a lot of 80 carries that are considered good right now have. So like Caitlyn and stuff like that, they get above 2000. So this kind of just puts her in line with the rest of those 80 carries as well. Also, getting away with 1 health might be a little bit more satisfying, knowing that it came off the back of having extra health per level because the health growth stat has gone up. The passive for Get Excited, the stacks on stacks, the 25 bonus attack speed again that you gain from Get Excited on takedown now stacks once again. That wasn't a thing, then it was a thing a couple years ago, then it wasn't a thing, now it's back again in our lives, right in time for Jinx's 10th year anniversary and a new skin. And then of course the big one, the Super Mega Death Rocket. So minimum damage, by the way, in case you don't know, is the flight of it. So if you try and use it close range for whatever reason, the minimum damage it will do is that. For maximum range damage, look at Zap, her W. That distance is when the max damage will kick in. Because the idea is it's supposed to be a bit of a long range ability. Back in Season 5, people used to shotgun it like Graves' ultimate, and it was kind of annoying to deal with for people. I guess I have a Jinx bias, so I just think they were all cowards. Minimum damage, 30, 45, and 60 plus 15% bonus AD, plus 25, 30, and 35 of a target's missing health based on levels 6, 11, and 16, going to 32.5, 47.5, and 62.5, plus 16.5 bonus AD, and 25, 35, or 30 and 35 of a target's missing health. So the maximum damage, and this is why you want to fire at long range, is 10 times that amount, by the way. So instead of 30, 45, and 60, maximum damage 300, 450, and 600, plus 150 bonus AD, and then of course a 20, 30, and 35. But now it's going to 10 times that as maximum damage as well. 325, 475, and 625, plus 165% bonus AD, plus 25, 30, and 35 of a target's missing health. So basically, if you fire at somebody that's half health, it's going to do 625 damage at level 16, plus 35% of their already missing health. And if they're squishy enough and you build enough lethality, they probably just die. This is not necessarily aimed at just lethality Jinx, but there's a part of me that, because I build off meta stuff too, I'm like, this is actually going to be really, really, really good in situations where you're even or ahead. You're just going to be able to be oppressive. Even on crit builds, you're just going to be oppressive. It's going to be great. The ultimate's going to really feel like an ultimate, Kaisa's base armor is being decreased. Kaisa is an extremely common marksman in high skill brackets. Go figure. That's like not really changed. I don't know. I got some words I can say. There's certain AD carries that just always seem to pop back up. And then as soon as another AD carry that you haven't seen for a while has been popular for long enough and they get nerfed, all the average you see usually AD carries come roaring back, and Kaisa's one of those. But the armor is going from 28 to 25, which means in trades against physical damage dealing champions or AD champions of any kind, you're going to have a little bit less armor, which is going to be, a little bit unfortunate, perhaps, for Kaisa, who's building mixed build and stuff like that. It means when you're trading, though, in laning phase, that could feel a little bit nice, especially use the rocket form to outrange Kaisa a little bit until Kaisa starts getting her items and stuff. So this one's more of an honorable mention just because two reasons. One, Ziggs is in the Jinx comic that they made once, but two, whenever mages end up in the bottom lane, Ziggs is one of those champions that end up down there. And the Q hitbox being increased on the bouncing bomb for trades and poke and stuff might not be the reason he ends up down there. But if it is, I'm going to call it, this is the reason why, because it'll be able to make him be able to kind of more safely harass people from a distance, more reliably, because the hitbox is just straight up bigger on that ability. So, if you see Ziggs in the bot lane, and especially if you're Jinx, well, I guess the friendship's about to be ruined because one of y'all's got to win, and I'm rooting for you as a Jinx player. So Lord Dominic's Regards is getting some changes because it's going to be applying its calculations pre-application is how it was doing it, like on live. But now they're moving it to pre-mitigation, which should be more intuitive, they say, to how players think and use the item. So in short, I believe it wasn't applying its stuff. Like, you're supposed to build it for like anti-tank and shields and stuff like that, but it wasn't applying stuff until after those things would be applied. And so now it's going to be pre-mitigation for those to help you kind of mitigate those a bit more. If you're fighting a tank with 5,000 health, this should be the item you're taking, not Mortal Reminder, which is more for anti-heal, but at the same time, it just felt like the better anti-tank item anyways, regardless. And so now they kind of want to push this back into being, this is the anti-tank if they have a bunch of health and stuff. That one's supposed to be for anti-heal. There's supposed to be a difference between them, even though they both built out of Last Whisper. Which, once upon a time, Last Whisper was just its own item. Way back in Season 5. Alright, so honorable mention some Doran's changes, because a lot of people tend to start with a Doran's item. The attack damage on Doran's blade is going from 8 to 10, and the health is going from 80 to 100, which might make it a bit more nicer of a build early, or buy early, I should say. As someone who just doesn't build Doran's items, I just use that starting gold to start on one of my first items. But now, 80 carry items, especially now that Infinity Edge is a mythic once again, I can't go long sword into Kraken Slayer as I maybe used to, and maybe I should go back to buying Doran's blade, who knows. But that's nice. It's like a little buff, of course, but it's still there and might be nice, considering you have to end up selling the item later anyways because it builds into nothing. And then honorable mentions to the following skins that are coming this patch. The World's Renekton skin. Okay, probably not seeing Renekton in the bot lane. Redeemed, Star Guardian, Rakan, and Xayah. You might be seeing those two. Those are being ported over from Wild Rift finally after 10,000 years. So you might see Xayah and Rakan in your games. People doing as those two champions, maybe just Xayah or just Rakan even. You might be playing with Rakan on your team as your support because people that main these champions might want to play a couple of these games with these skins, at least at the beginning of a patch when they're finally released. Koven Nami, who is a support, so you might see them. Koven Neela, actually, who's also a melee, like, 80 carry. So, actually, a lot of these champions you might see in your games, at least at the beginning of the patch. I say that at the beginning because, like, maybe that falls off if they, are still not meta and not that good. But mains of those champions, like, it's like when a Jinx skin comes out, like the one that's coming out next patch, we're still probably going to play Jinx whether she's meta or not, especially to play that skin. So, that's kind of how that works. They do have Koven Akali, Koven Elise, so you won't probably see those bottom lane, hopefully. Old God Mordekaiser. Man, that's a nice skin, though. Prestige Koven Akali, and then, of course, Neopax Jax, which none of those champions you'll see bottom lane, but you might see in your game. So knowing how to play with those champions, your follow-up CC, or how to position with them if they're, a dive champion and you want to kind of back them up or something, that could be important. That's going to be all for this video, though. So thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification, the actual subscribe button. But I don't know which video will be next, because life can have a lot of kinks. So until this time, take care. GG, Thank you for watching, and enjoy pizza responsibly.